Do we have a show? There we are.
We're here.
Hello.
Welcome to WDW After Five. We hope you're feeling WDWAF tonight.
I'm feeling it. Are you feeling it?
I'm your host, Eric Morton.
I'm Eric's co-host of the evening, Jill Diffendahl. You may recognize me from shows such as Boxed In with Eric Morton.
All the shows.
All the shows.
Everybody knows who Jill is. Welcome. If you haven't watched before, WDWAF, our goal is to give you information and a look into all the bars and lounges on property. So yes, this is a drinking show. So kids, get your parents' permission before you drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that how?
I think that's how it works. I think you just.
I was in New Orleans this week, so I think that is how it works.
It's like a permission slip to go on a field trip. I think it's like that.
That is correct. So we go to bars every week. We jot down important information.
Only so that we can do this show. There's no other reason other than so we can do this show and talk about the things that you can do at Walt Disney World after 5 p.m. That's the whole point here, is just to give you a view into all of the fun stuff you can do in the parks after dark.
That's right, Jill. But it was important to us to do something for Disney's Animal Kingdom because it was the 25th anniversary this weekend.
It was on Saturday. It was the 25th anniversary of Animal Kingdom.
And it's possible that I don't remember a whole lot of that 25th anniversary.
I don't know what you're talking about, Eric.
But it sure was exciting.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
You were talking to the animals, I think.
I mean, I was channeling my inner Jane Goodall because she sent Joe Rohde like a signed picture in commemoration of Animal Kingdom opening. I know if all of
Jill's like, Eric, I'm talking to a gorilla. I was like, that's your brother, Jill.
I didn't make that joke. I did not make that joke.
Don't worry, nobody's watching.
Fair enough.
If you are watching, though, we want to thank you. And if you want to help us out, you want to support this programming like this, please support our sponsors. Be Our Guest Vacations. You go to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT so they know you came from us. And give them some business. Their services are 100% free. You want to plan your next trip. They do a great job, and we'd love it if you support them on behalf of us.
I also recommend Disney travel agents to my friends who are not Florida locals who want to come to Disney, because I wind up getting a bunch of questions. Hey, you're a big Disney fan. Can you help me plan my trip? And eventually that gets to be a little bit much. You can't help all of your friends plan all of their Disney trips.
Once Jill sent all of her friends to the same bar and was like, that's the best Disney attraction.
I feel like that is just a total bad scene waiting to happen. Yeah.
And also, who else brings us this show, Jake?
This program is brought to you by WIGS, the WDWNT Inner Globe Society. Support WDWNT to get early and exclusive access to content you can't find anywhere else, including exclusive post shows for WDW News Tonight and Park Center, access to our prize wall, a monthly Zoom with Tom, access to our Discord community, early access to our events, and much more, starting at just $2 per month. For more information, visit patreon.com/WDWNT or visit WDWNT.com and click the Patreon link. Join WIGS and unlock even more WDWNT.
WIGS. Everybody loves the WIGS.
All right. Big shout out to the WIGS out there. If you are a WIGS member, we will have a post show immediately following this show. So stay tuned. You may notice we're not in my office this week.
No,
this is clearly an Epcot festival table.
We felt like it was an appropriate environment for a show like this.
Right, this is a festival table, not the kind that's an actual trash can. It's the more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Do it with me. Festival table. Be sophisticated. But speaking of sophisticated, Nomad Lounge, very popular bar.
I think speaking of sophisticated, it is one of the most sophisticated lounge experiences on all of property.
For instance, they serve churros. Oui.
That is incredibly sophisticated. Churros are the height of sophistication at a drinking establishment. But no, it's while it is right next to a signature dining experience, it shares a bathroom with Tiffin's, so you get to hobnob with all the Tiffin's.
You may not be able
people.
to eat with the people at Tiffin's, but you can take a dump with them. So go to Nomad Lounge. It's a really great perk that you just mentioned.
I think you just created their next marketing campaign. So yes, Animal Kingdom 25th anniversary was Saturday, so we thought perfect way to celebrate that was to bring you an episode of WDWAF from Nomad Lounge.
So I assembled a team of kind of WDWNT A-listers, I would say. And we went to Nomad Lounge, and here's what happened. All right, it is 5:50 p.m. It's after 5. You know what that means? We're doing another bar here for WDWAF, and today's bar is Nomad Lounge. Yes, a big favorite with a lot of Disney drinkers. Let's dive in and see what we got.
Ah, yes, a crowd favorite, Nomad Lounge. What's Disney tell us about this one? They say explore a world of distinctively delicious offerings and satisfy your taste for adventure. Located next to Tiffin's Restaurant, where the globe-trotting adventures of the Imagineers and animal experts who developed and built Disney's Animal Kingdom Park are celebrated. Nomad Lounge invites all to stake a claim in their own wanderlust over mouth-watering small plates and a large selection of beer, wine, and mixed drinks. Festive banners hang in the center of the lounge, each posing a different question about traveling the world and the thrill of discovery. During your visit, take moments to jot down answers to these questions on decorative tags provided by cast members. Later, your responses will be hung on a tag chandelier suspended above the bar for all to see. Nomad Lounge features indoor and outdoor seating. The outdoor area overlooks Discovery River and is nice and breezy and comfortable. We were lucky enough to be seated actually back by the table that allegedly Joe Rohde favors on the back side of the lounge. Join us for a drink. All right, so here we are at Nomad Lounge. I have Jill and Nick and Tom. Just a bunch of familiar faces for you. There's an amazing drink menu here, really. It's not a huge drink menu like Dahlia, but it certainly is deep. What they have is it's narrow but deep.
And it's very well themed. Like, you feel like the drinks feel authentic to the environment, that you're getting this sort of global flavor in your cocktail.
But isn't it one of the longer specialty cocktail lists, right? Like, it's not the biggest drink menu, but as far as like drinks that are exclusive,
it's big enough.
Yeah,
it's big enough. There's plenty on there.
But it's not like a pina colada.
No, you're not coming here and getting something you've had before. You shouldn't do that.
So let's start with you, Joe. What did you choose?
I chose the Hightower bus
Because you've been to the hotel now.
Because I was recently at the Hightower Hotel, and tomorrow is actually the 25th anniversary of Animal Kingdom, and so I thought I'd give my little nod to Joe Rohde. We are actually in what is rumored to be Joe Rohde's table.
His favorite table.
Favorite table all the way in the back of Nomad Lounge, so I felt like it was appropriate to have a Joe Rohde kind of drink.
So, just so people know, the Hightower Rocks is essentially a watermelon margarita, right? It's tequila, watermelon, sweet and sour, and lime juice. So
You know what you need to drink a watermelon margarita? The Spike the Bee Sport.
Blood orange margaritas. Spike the Bee.
How do you meet that with a Spike?
for the blood orange, we save that for blood orange.
Missed opportunity.
I got the Tempting Tigress, a favorite here
Very
for
good.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right, that is Russell's Reserve 10-year bourbon, St. Elizabeth allspice dram, tamarind syrup, and lime juice. So they say that some people that are into old fashions maybe don't like so much of that tamarind syrup, but I just want to report on the drink the way that it's made and make my decision that way.
Yeah, no, it's a refreshing drink. It's really good. I got the Night Monkey. It's, I think, one of the oddest drinks on the menu. It has guava puree, so it's a little bit thick. Coffee simple syrup, which is a weird mix with the fruit, and then the cilantro. And like, so it has a lot of different like weird flavors in it, but they come together so well. And yeah, I've been able to replicate this one at home too pretty easily.
Yeah.
So this one, it's a favorite.
That's definitely the scariest drink on the menu, right? I think that's the one that frightens people. Yeah.
It's like the consistency of cough syrup.
It is.
It's kind of like
thick.
if Robitussin were a cocktail.
Yeah.
I think you were there when we did the opening of the bar, right? And we ordered that. I remember we both looked at each other. We're like, I don't know about this. And then we both had it. We're like, oh my God, it's good.
Really good.
Yeah. And then I got kind of a simple drink, but the Leaping Lizard. What is the ingredient list on the Leaping Lizard?
Leaping Lizard. Malibu pineapple rum and Le Blanc Cachaca with orange, passion fruit, and mango juice.
It's a tiki drink, but I think it's the best tiki drink on property, honestly. It's the most well-balanced. It's strong, but you taste the juice. Like, you taste everything that's in it.
If it's got rum and cachaça in it. Cachaça is like a Brazilian sugarcane rum. And so it's what they use to make caipirinhas. And so you're adding rum plus another kind of rum. So you're getting a pretty good.
No, it's my favorite of the tiki drinks on
Rum topped
property.
with rum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You've
Like
invented
like
alcoholism.
Like a tiki drink should be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, well, we're going to wait for these to come out, and we'll take a look inside.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. We know the official toast. Down mine and up yours.
I haven't been to any of these. I didn't know that was the thing.
That's a Morton family thing, right?
Sounds like it.
The first time I ever heard it was with Tim and Andy.
All right. So, Jill, walk us through your drink.
Okay, so as you said, it's basically a watermelon margarita. It's tequila, it's watermelon, sweet sour mix, and lime juice. And it tastes basically exactly like you think those things would taste. Perfect watermelon taste. I know a lot of fruit flavored drinks tend to taste a little artificial or fake. This is like definitely real watermelon. Perfect blend. You can get just a hint of the tequila without it being overwhelming. The lime juice adds a nice tartness. This is not too sweet. If you like fruit drinks that are not overly sweet, this one is perfect. Nice, cold, refreshing, great drink.
This one is just very popular. I know a lot of people like this one. It's the only cocktail with bourbon in it, right? That we saw on the menu.
Yeah, menu, yeah.
And you taste that allspice dram, tamarind, and the bourbon. It really is all balanced out really, really perfectly. It's nothing really overpowers it. So you can taste all the flavors individually, but they're like coherent in like a uniform overall drink. So it doesn't have a weird aftertaste where you're tasting something later that you didn't taste when you first drank it. I think this one obviously is a winner. It's a great one.
Your glass makes me sad.
Wait, why?
You don't remember the original
It's a different glass, right? So I was going to say that, right? It was a wider glass.
It was like a crystal,
shallow,
so it had like kind of almost like a crystal-like stem, right? It
Yeah.
had like the blocks and
Yep.
stuff, and then it was blue, right? It was
right.
a blue.
Well, I think
That's
green,
kind of like.
I might think it was green.
Was
it?
it?
Was a green tint.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I would say like the old glass kind of reminds me of the current Fort Wilderness cabins, and the new glass reminds me of the new
yes.
ones.
This one just reminds me of like someone went to World Market to pick up some martini glass.
That's also where they bought the new camp, whatever. I'm losing the word.
In contrast, the rocks glasses are very nice.
Really nice, and I love that glass too.
Look at my
The glasses
Oh,
here
yeah,
are
that's
really
beautiful.
nice. But am I crazy, or was that glass this like tilted glass? When it
That's
first
a Jock
started?
Lindsay's.
That's a different.
That's
That's
a Jock
Jock's.
Lindsay's.
That's the Jock Lindsay's. If you
okay.
get the Hail Marty,
I was just going to say,
Okay.
which is
Is that what that
essentially
one is?
E.H. Taylor,
Yeah.
small
Can I tell
batch
you
and a giant
something?
ice cube.
Something controversial about these. My parents have had these glasses since the mid 2000s, so the first time we came here, they put the drinks out. I go, Mom, it's our glasses.
That's great.
Someone went shopping at the Corliss Kitchen. Well, let's
Just
hear about
these, the ones with the squares.
Let's hear about the Night Monkey.
All right, so
It looks a little chunky. You got a chunky monkey.
So I haven't had this one in quite some time, probably since late last year, right? So it's different. It's different. I don't remember a little ground coffee on top.
Show Jake the surface.
Yeah.
The surface. It almost looks like
it's ground coffee.
V8 mixed with coffee.
It looks like the local swamp water.
It looks like one of the lava pools in Journey into the
Now Jill and I will just make Tokyo
One of the
every
complaints about the pizza, if you remember Abracadabra, was that it had that cornmeal on it. It was gritty. This looks a little gritty.
So,
Polish
you
your silver.
remember ground coffee
a
on there?
decent recollection. I don't know. It's so much more noticeable in the clear cup. Right?
Usually there's some cilantro floating on top. It's not there. I don't know. It's a little different.
And it tastes different.
It's very coffee forward right now. Definitely has that thick flavor and the guava and the rum, but feels a little bit different. Yeah, it's not bad. I like it a lot.
Obviously,
Like you make these for yourself at home, right?
Yeah, I can make this one.
Cilantro
Really
and coffee are going to be very different tastes, right?
Well, no, it always has the coffee. What I'm saying is I don't remember the ground coffee on top.
Okay.
But I also don't taste all the cilantro I usually do.
There's a lot of monkey-themed drinks at Disney World, right? Because there's like the drinks with the monkey shoulder, and then there's the
cool-headed monkey.
Cool-headed monkey at Jock's. There's this and that monkey. Cool-headed monkey comes with themed glassware, though. You get the little mug with the monkey head on it.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds you of Indiana Jones, right? Jock Lindsay's, right? Remember when they chilled
It
monkey
is. It's
brains?
supposed to be the scene in Temple. Yeah.
All right, Tom, and the Leaping Lizard. Little Orphan Annie's favorite drink.
Why is it her favorite drink?
Little Orphan Annie used to say.
She used to always say Leaping Lizard.
Oh,
I'm the youngest,
But obviously
I'm the youngest person.
The
at
eyes
this
on
table.
your chameleon are not just white circles.
I love that it is the chameleon head, right? It's so cute. So it's super tart. It's a lot of fruit juice, but then on the back end, you really taste the alcohol. It is a lot of rum, and it's a strong, easy. It's strong, but it's easy to drink. And so if you like tiki drinks, you're on vacation, right? So you kind of want something tropical. That's why I like this. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of great cocktails here, and a lot of them are a lot more complex than this is. But I really like this.
Mine's not super complex, but it's also
That's
delicious.
true. Yeah.
Sometimes
good
basic is good.
Are you
No
calling
offense,
me
ladies.
Yeah.
No, actually, at the Magic Kingdom, the place where you get like embroidery on your mouse ear hats and all that stuff, one of them is like they're showing the different
the
fonts,
yeah.
and one of them says basic.
Basic.
I was like, wow. Don't people feel judged?
That's why no one buys mouse ears anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be basic.
Everyone, no, they are basic. They get the headband, right?
Well,
You never see people wearing regular mouse ears anymore. It's sad.
They don't fit people's. They won't fit my
No?
head. I have a big head though.
Well, that's the kids one though. You're trying the adult one.
Yeah.
Oh, they're pretty big. I don't have a small head.
are we
either.
saying heads are bigger now than they were like a couple decades
I'm
ago?
saying I
They
personally
definitely
have a
are.
larger than average skull.
I blame social media.
all right. Well, we're gonna enjoy our drinks, and we'll be back in a minute.
It's a true story though, Eric. I have a really big head.
Me too.
You do too. It's a
Does
pain
Jason
we
have a
share.
big head?
Oh, have you seen Jason?
Jason might have a big head. Big heads, who knows?
I mean, it works. I feel like we're all smart people, so
I don't know. So, Animal Kingdom, we had a great time.
we did.
That's a great bar, but we're gonna do some other bars, maybe some other season of this show, but not this season that we're there. We spent some time last weekend at Dawa Bar,
We did.
and if you were there at our event, you know, because Jill and I were there.
That we had a scavenger hunt. So WDWNT had a Animal Kingdom 25th anniversary unofficial. Was that the word? Unofficial field trip.
Oh,
event.
unauthorized field trip.
Unauthorized field trip event.
Unauthorized field trip.
And so we had a scavenger hunt game, and Eric and I were one of the stations at the scavenger
We were
hunt
demoted
game.
to Clue. I used to be VP of operations, and then no, it's just Clue. You're
I
a
choose
Clue.
to be Mrs. Peacock. Is that okay? Can I do that?
With a candlestick in the library.
In the conservatory. Thank you very much. In the conservatory. Yeah, so we hung out for a while. People had to come find us at Dawa Bar to get clues. And
Let's talk about Dawa Bar.
We hung out at Dawa Bar for a
Open
while.
air.
Yep.
No air conditioning. Some shade, obviously. Under
Are
a
we
little
going to
roof
throw
there.
some shade at Dawa Bar right
No,
now?
no. I mean,
Okay.
you have shade. You have shade, but you're not indoors.
Correct.
But it's not oppressively hot in there, I don't think. Good beer selection,
Yes.
3 or 4. Not a lot of beer, but like
No.
some beers that are pretty good. There's a Spike the Bee beer there.
There's a Spike the
The
Bee
honey,
beer. The honey. Yeah.
honey citrus something.
And they
beer.
have a spiced ale, which is not the Kungaloosh ale, but it's similar. And so if you're craving that, but you're not getting into Nomad Lounge, you can go get it there. I think we'll have a little bit more about Kungaloosh beer in just a little bit on the Nomad segment.
We may have also gone to drink Walla, which has a little seating area behind it down near the
does.
water. That's good.
It does.
We may have also gone to the bar at Restaurantosaurus that looks like a tent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we spent a little bit of time in the Restaurantosaurus bar.
We may have gone to Yak and Yeti.
I definitely went to Yak and Yeti early in the day. I started off my day at Yak and Yeti with some sake because I feel like sake is a morning drink. It's also an afternoon and an evening drink, but sake is a morning drink.
And of course, they have the world famous Rainforest Cafe.
And we
among
also,
other. There's also
yeah.
the bar by Expedition Everest. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
We'll cover that one day.
But you actually are the one who taught me that, so Rainforest Cafe and T-Rex are owned by the same company, and you are the one who actually taught me that while eating at Rainforest Cafe or T-Rex are a thing you kind of want to avoid, but also a thing that's not easy to get a reservation for at Walt Disney
But
World.
drinking there.
But you can walk right into that bar, sit down, have a drink, have a snack, and it's actually a really fun experience because you get to see all the weird stuff happening in the restaurant. In T-Rex, you get to see the dinosaurs and the lava and all of that good stuff, and
Also,
hidden secret.
pretty good air conditioning.
And pretty good air conditioning, yeah.
In a pinch, I'm telling you, especially when they had those margarita shakers last year.
I have one. I have a T-Rex one.
They were
at
a great
home.
deal.
Yeah.
A T-Rex and
It was like
Yak and Yeti
$14, and you got a margarita. and you
Rainforest
got-
Cafe.
Yeah, and you got to take it home. It was great.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? They also have coffee at Rainforest Cafe, I'm told. I'm told that's what I had to drink the other night.
And chips and salsa.
Chips and salsa, of course. That's a delicious drink, folks. You should check it out. Anyway, we finished our first round at Nomad, and we're very happy. We're having a great time. Really, the weather wasn't too bad. It was pretty nice.
It was
and then
yeah.
what we do is we kind of tone it down for the second round.
We did. We took a step back from the cocktails and tried some of the other things on the menu. We mentioned Kungaloosh beer. Nomad is one of only 2 places, well, I guess 3 technically if you count Tiffin's. So while Kungaloosh used to be the sort of classic signature drink of the Adventurers Club in Pleasure Island, as a drink...
There are 2 recipes of the Kungaloosh classic cocktail that are totally different from each other.
And can you still get a Kungaloosh cocktail at
If you come to
Skipper
a WDWNT anniversary
But you
celebration.
can't get it at Skipper Canteen, right?
No, you can get the beer. Skipper Canteen. Well, I don't know because they started serving those type of cocktails at Skipper Canteen. But the beer, there's a Kungaloosh beer, which was a spiced.
It's a spiced ale.
They call it spiced ale.
Currently brewed, we learned, it is currently brewed by Dogfish Head, which is based in Delaware, interestingly enough.
It used to be brewed by a place in Miami.
It used to be, right, so there have been different, so we think there is a recipe for Kungaloosh that they have farmed out to different breweries depending on who's probably giving them the lowest or best bid or who else they have a contract with, because I'm sure Kungaloosh is not the only beer that they sort of contract to white label out to another brewery. So much like we know that Duff beer at Universal is brewed by Florida Brewing Company and Universal owns the exclusive license to brewing Duff beer.
Well, there you have it. But let's see how the next round went. All right. So on to our second drinks. It's more of a freestyle. Pick what you want. Jill and I both went with Kungaloosh.
Kungaloosh.
This is a beer that's been around for a while. changed who makes it. I think the recipe's similar. Only place you can get this here next door, Tiffin's and Skipper Canteen. Right? I think that's
The
it.
only places in Walt
Made by
Disney World.
Dogfish Head?
We were just told it is currently brewed by Dogfish Head.
And for those that don't know, of course, it's a reference to the Adventurers Club where the salute was.
Gongaloosh.
Look it up, kids.
All right, and these two, because it's only 94 degrees out and
94
everybody needs warming up,
degrees.
they both got Mustang coffee.
I mean, Mustang.
Mustang coffee.
We don't know, depend Mustang. I don't know what it is.
That's coffee, Crown Royal, butter, and brown sugar.
It is, yeah.
Sure is.
Crazy.
This is your substitute for hot buttered rum.
Oh, that's heaven.
It's so good. Especially when it's cold. I mean, it's not... There's a nice breeze right now, so it's not a bad day to have it.
Yeah.
So the theme of this bar is travel.
Yeah.
Well, specifically, this in Tiffin's is themed to the travel that inspired the park.
The
right?
travel that inspired the park. So,
India,
correct.
Africa,
Travel to Africa.
Bali.
So, I thought, why don't we talk about travel? You guys just got back from, both of you were in Japan
both in
for the
Japan.
40th.
Which has nothing to do
I
with
have been
Animal
to
Kingdom,
Africa. I don't know if anybody else here has been there.
It does have something to do with Africa. She just hit the High Tower Rocks.
Okay, there we go.
So you two have, we know you two have been to Asia. I've been to Africa. We've got our bases covered here, Liz.
I've been to Europe.
Where's Nick been that he can talk about on the air?
Wow.
But let's talk about travel. because-
Moving on.
No, Africa is underrepresented at Epcot, right? All these
Correct.
countries, and they just kind of go, this is Africa, and it's like a...
Well, it was supposed to be a full pavilion. In '82, when they opened, all they had was the promenade done, and then the rest fell through.
Specifically, that was Equatorial Africa.
Yeah. They were working with the guy that wrote Roots.
But there's a lot of other interesting places in Africa. South Africa. So here's something interesting. We should see between us how many of the Epcot locations we've
Eric's
been
gonna
to.
win, so let's play.
No. No, that's not true. I bet you would win. But if we combine our locations, so yes, I've been to Mexico, Norway, Africa, if that counts. I've been to...
Does Refreshment Outpost count as a pavilion?
I don't know, but we're going to just say...
I've been to
okay.
McDonald's.
Many times.
I've been to Canada. I've been to the UK. I have been to France literally for less than an hour.
I've got France covered for
I've hit port in Spain. That's not a country at Epcot, so we don't have to worry about it. So, I think Tom has been to China.
China,
Tom has been to
Japan,
Japan.
France,
Tom's been to
Canada.
France, Canada.
I have not been to Mexico.
Is Morocco
we have-
the only one we might be
Morocco
missing?
might be our... I've been to the UK.
Have you been to Disney?
No.
I've been to England.
Want to hear
Where's
something
Morocco, Joe?
insane?
Can we count on you? Can you-
I almost went to Morocco when I
That's
was
good
in,
enough.
When
Done.
I was
We
in
got it
high
covered.
school.
I almost went.
When I was in high school, my parents sent me on a month-long trip to Europe with this like educational tour company
Yeah.
that there were like 12 kids from my high school that went on this trip. And we were in the south of France and we were supposed to take a day trip to Morocco. You can get on a ferry basically and go from the south of France to Morocco. But we wound up having to cancel it because there was a train employee strike. And so we couldn't take a train from where we were in France to the train station. So I
very
was
common
supposed
in
to go.
France.
I was supposed to go to Casablanca, and we wound up not being able to go because of the train strike.
My favorite thing in France is literally the Uber driver will have to check what day of the week it is to know if he can drop us off where he's supposed to at the airport or not, because certain days they're on strike.
So,
There's like a weekly schedule of strikes.
He's like, "Oh, is it and it's happened at least 3 times where the guy's like, "Is it Tuesday? Because on Tuesday I cannot drop you off."
so let's do this. Sometimes we do 5, but let's do 4. We're going to add 4 countries to World Showcase. You don't have to just say yours and be done with it. You can.
You want me to go?
discuss
I
it.
got mine
I want-
ready.
You
I know what
suggest
John's number one
suggest
is.
one. Suggest one.
No.
Oh, the Swiss.
India.
No, not based on what planned attractions were back in the day.
I
but,
think
like,
India.
Actually based on adding to the mixture of culture.
Oh,
India.
I think India would be great. Like Sanaa, they've proven they can do Indian-inspired dishes very well.
Yeah.
It's going to become the most populous country in the world in the very near
Yeah,
future.
and then,
It deserves
like,
a pavilion in Epcot.
I hate to be this guy, but as far as like an IP, and this was rumored years ago, we talked about it, a Jungle Book ride in an India pavilion. You'd have great dining. You'd have a ride that not only would appeal to the older generation, I think would appeal to all. I think it's an IP that appeals to all generations of Disney fan, from young to old. Everyone loves Jungle Book. I think it'd be fantastic.
You could have like a Sinbad type of ride
I
with
was
Shere Khan
thinking
instead of
I
Shandu.
was just thinking.
They would never do it. I would love that, but they'll never build Shandu. It's never happening anywhere else.
There's
Alright.
way too many animatronics in that ride
All
for
right.
us to ever build it.
And it's not
Okay,
IP.
what do you think?
Yeah.
What should we add?
You know, a couple come to mind. Like, I think aesthetics-wise, I think it's fun. It would be fun to have Egypt,
Yeah.
but
That's North Africa, so
Yeah.
we have Morocco,
It
but
is too-
I would
yeah,
actually be
that's
okay
what I'm
with
thinking.
I would be okay with Egypt replacing North Africa because replacing Morocco because I feel like it's a little bit more. It has a little bit better iconography.
Right.
It's a little bit more of a recognizable international destination. It has a lot of World Heritage sites and history, and it lends itself well to an attraction.
See, I think Morocco is just as iconic simply because I think Casablanca put all that architecture into pop culture, right? And I think so people are so familiar.
No, I agree. I think Morocco is beautiful. I think it's a very troubled pavilion. I feel like
It
it
is.
doesn't have, it hasn't established itself as much. It's like it doesn't have the foothold of like instantly recognizable.
Aladdin ride and Aladdin
landmarks.
dinner, and you're done. You
If
got
they
it.
would turn that into an Aladdin dinner, they'd be set.
Yeah.
Or Rick's Cafe.
I mean, I would
a Ritz
die.
Cafe back there.
I would die. I would give anything.
Okay, so Egypt. I think that. Okay, Jill. How about one?
Okay, this is going to be super probably maybe controversial, but I kind of feel like Brazil should have a pavilion.
No,
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, like, South America is not represented at all. We have Mexico, but that's still North America.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even Central America. That's North America. I think, and if you're going to choose a country from South America to do a pavilion for, Brazil is the one that makes sense.
And they've
then you
tried
have
several times.
Yeah, and they've come very close several
Yeah.
times. You have great food options. I mean, IP-wise, you've got more of a struggle.
They own
but-
Rio now, don't they?
If you want some iconography, though, the problem is that their greatest like iconic structure is very
Is
overtly
religious.
But you
religious.
could do like Carnival, like you
Yeah.
could
Okay.
do so many
See,
fun things.
But you could also do. Hear me out. Peru has some pretty amazing heritage
like,
sites. Machu Picchu.
I was gonna, I don't know, is it Aztec? Are they Aztec temples? I'm not sure which.
So I was gonna say the thing with Brazil is I can't picture what that would look like. Like, but maybe that's the point of having it to teach me about what the Brazil culture and what it looks like. That's part of the point. But I can't picture. You say Brazil, and that's the first thing I think of. That statue. I can't think of anything else.
You know what the easy answer is for the company is Colombia.
Right.
Because you
of
could do Encanto. The Encanto shouldn't go in Magic Kingdom. It should go in Epcot, if anything, right? It's a movie that's heavily inspired by actual culture from that place, and so it's not a far leap, right? I mean,
If we're talking about cultural touchstone, I think despite the current geopolitical climate, Russia makes a lot of sense.
There is
Right?
almost a Russian pavilion.
We don't really have anything that's Eastern European.
What's that food gonna be? Like that
borscht.
yeah. Like
Ooh, I want to get a borscht whip.
Mickey Mousekowitz.
I want to go try the borscht whip.
A great vodka selection.
yeah, right.
Frozen,
Another
frozen
really-
Mickey pretzel.
Another
not
really
eating.
large. I mean, Australia's
How half of them are.
Australia is an entire continent that is
Australia
not
was my
represented.
second choice. Australia was actually, I think New Zealand could make a really.
Australia or
stellar-
New Zealand, both.
I think before the IP thing became so prevalent, I think that was the easy answer for this part. Was Australia, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so much interesting wildlife.
And yet it's so accessible for Americans.
And then Nemo was the IP tie-in, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was funny in Small World in Tokyo that like the IP
They
that
have Nemo.
they put in Nemo.
And just from a world population standpoint, like Indonesia is massive.
I think it would be cool to have like a Bali or
Vietnam.
Yeah, Thailand. Oh my God, can you imagine?
Thailand, Laos, like
the food.
Well, a good amount of these
The
have been
architecture.
booths at Food and Wine.
Yeah.
look, lumpia is like, I identify that as like a Filipino dish.
Yeah.
Philippines would be pretty cool. I know there's some popular.
I think
lumpia
if
at
you were
Disney
gonna
World.
pick anywhere in sort of that like Asia Pacific, like that coastal Asia Pacific region, I think you could create a really great pavilion.
Yeah.
I think some are easier and more accessible than others, like Thailand. Like we're used to Thai food, but others like Laos or something. Oh my gosh, I had really good Laotian food in Orlando, by the way.
South Africa would be amazing.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful part of the world. I mean, there's so much. There's so much they could do. But we've given them a good start, and they can bulldoze the thing that's just Africa. I feel like that's almost insulting. What
just
are you?
blocks
What country are you?
Marina.
You know,
Get rid of
Africa.
refreshment.
Because everyone on this gigantic continent is the same.
Well, they need the space behind that to demolish failed nighttime shows.
Yeah.
That's specifically what that space is for.
Well, there we have it. We fixed Epcot. On a bigger and better.
We've enhanced Epcot.
I'm really excited for the Moana pavilion.
I am not sarcastically somewhat interested in the Moana experience.
Nick is really excited for the kids' water play area.
Okay, hey, since we're on the Epcot thing, I just thought of something. I was ready to wrap this up. But no.
Let's do it.
You know how you look at places on Disney property? You're like,
in our video, by the way.
yeah. So like, you know how you walk through Hollywood Studios? You're like, oh, I'd love to live in those apartments by Echo Lake.
Oh, yeah.
Where at Epcot, if you could have an apartment or a home in a place that you see at
World
Epcot that
Showcase,
looks
I
like a
assume?
place, yeah, World Showcase, that you would be like, I'm gonna set up shop here.
The Himeji Temple or the Himeji Castle.
All right, yeah, you're gonna live up in the castle.
I'm living in Himeji Castle.
Okay, well, I'll come visit sometime. Lee will come visit you, and you guys can drink sake.
She'll want to live in Paris, so she'll want to live in France.
I think
We'll be next door neighbors.
walking through Canada, there are some amazing. If you actually walk back in that pavilion, there's all these little nooks and crannies. There's even a little cottage across
Yeah.
the water from like Lake Cellier.
I was gonna say Canada.
Like right overlooking the waterfall out of one of those apartments. I think I'm picking Canada. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, okay, all right. You went first. Well then, all right. Moving around. Why not? I'll live in the pyramid in Mexico.
Yeah, that's not a bad spot.
Have my little apartment right at the top overlooking everything.
Well, there's little, like, inside there's all those buildings. They have upper floors, right?
Yeah.
I would do Norway. That upper floor, like the Puffin's Roost,
Oh yeah.
would be cool. Yeah.
You can mow your roof on Saturdays.
Well, that's the bakery.
I've actually been like the buildings, like where the store is,
Yeah.
are themed after an area of Bergen called Briggen.
Yeah.
I've been back in there, and it's really old, hundreds and hundreds of years old, and it still smells a little like fish. It still smells like it did when like the fish,
Yeah.
the guts seeped into the building so bad that you still smell.
Yum.
So you might have some odor problems, but yeah, that's like really a great idea. Norway would be beautiful.
I ate a lot of seafood in the last couple of weeks.
All right, we got one more little bit, and then we'll be back.
The whole time.
Jill, I had a glare on my face the whole time. I didn't even notice it.
I don't know what to tell you. I was too busy being enthralled by our conversation about Epcot, which I don't understand why we were having a conversation about Epcot so in depth when we were supposed to be honoring.
I'll tell you why.
Animal
Because
Kingdom.
because the theme of the bar is travel.
Travel. That's fair. That's fair.
And Animal Kingdom, as beautiful as it is, it doesn't really have a lot of stuff about travel, right? There's like Asia and Africa and Dinoland.
Dinoland.
So-
Haven't you ever been to Dinoland?
I mean, it's not exactly
Everybody's
a top
been to
tourist
Dinoland.
destination.
But actually, that's an interesting point you bring up because we had this whole conversation in the video about how Africa is an entire continent that's not represented in Epcot. But actually, Africa is pretty well represented in Animal Kingdom. And does that count?
Does that offset it?
Does that offset the lack of representation?
I would say, like, if you count Animal Kingdom Lodge, which makes everything beautiful and nice and all that stuff, and really puts its best foot forward. So when Epcot was built, all these pavilions, most of the countries got involved to, like, we want to put our best foot forward, show you our best architecture, show you these beautiful things, and you go to Animal Kingdom and it's like, here's a crappy cracked sidewalk and a rusty building and like a fake power lines.
Joe Rohde wanted to make it authentic.
Right. So I feel like they didn't put their best foot forward and show you Africa's best.
So you want to see like fancy, you want to see like the like best parts of Africa, the best parts. I don't know how, I'm just gonna say like
Harambe Village is like this far from like warlords in a Land Cruiser coming by with AK-47s. Like it doesn't make, it's not the best looking. Surely that's not the most attractive image of Africa that they could have come up with.
I don't know. I've never been to. You've been to Africa. I haven't. I
don't
have an
it's
answer
authentic,
to that.
Joe.
I don't have an answer to that question.
It's authentic. You said you had a question for me and you wouldn't tell me what it was.
Oh, so we were having a conversation at Nomad Lounge about what's the country that's not in Epcot that you would, what's your first choice of country to put into World Showcase? Mm-hmm. My question is, which country should absolutely not be in World Showcase?
Okay, I'll bite. We talked about Morocco. The only reason I say Morocco is not because I don't
mean an existing country that's there that should get the boot. I mean, like,
what's a country that exists in the world that we should rule out of being in Epcot?
Yes. What should never be considered?
Boy, oh boy. I mean, a lot of these could get me in trouble.
Probably, especially as a former member of the military.
This is one that was actually proposed to be in Epcot. I think could cause trouble is Israel. Nothing against people from Israel. I feel like it's a controversial part of the world that we right now in our current like geopolitical climate I feel like that's a country where every now and then you'd see some stuff go down of angry people not liking it or people disagreeing. I feel like the spirit of Epcot is more like to bring people together. I feel like a country, even though I'm not blaming Israel for this, I don't take a side in this, I feel like it's a divisive issue.
I would argue similarly that Russia, which was also almost a country in Epcot, would probably face similar issues. Actually,
in today's climate, yes.
Surprisingly, there's never been like a huge backlash about China being in Epcot.
Yeah, and it's too bad because I would like, if the world were different, I would like to have a Cuba. I would like to have a Cuba there.
I'd like to buy the world of Coke.
I'd like to buy the world of Coke.
Is how I would like to frame
You put me on the spot. I think I failed. I'll probably be executed by the time I get there.
No, you're just never going to get a part in a Hollywood movie. So that was our Epcot discussion. We were talking about Epcot because we were talking about travel, and that is the spirit of Nomad Lounge. And so I think in our final segment, maybe we talk a little bit more about...
We do discuss travel up here in a minute. I want to know, though, what we don't discuss. What is one country you're just dying to go to? The place where you'll just...
So I just went to it. The country
a place you have not been to.
No, but I'm saying like up until literally 3 weeks ago, my bucket list travel country was absolutely Japan. I finally just got to go there.
Quick plug, tomorrow night, Boxed In right here on the same channel.
Boxed In, me and
Japan
Eric tomorrow
merchandise.
night. Tokyo Disneyland 40th anniversary merchandise. We got a lot of it. And I'll tell stories about the escapades of bringing back all of that merchandise. There was some hijinks in the Tokyo train station, on the Shinkansen from Tokyo to Kyoto. We had some hijinks, Jason and I, in trying to tote a whole lot of Tokyo Disney merchandise all over Japan. We'll share those stories tomorrow. But yeah, so Japan was my bucket list country up until 3 weeks ago. And now that I've gotten to go there, I would say my next country that I really want to visit is India.
Cool.
I have a friend who lives in India. I talk to her regularly. She tells me how amazing it is. I'm a foodie. I really want to go eat authentic Indian food. She's promised to take me to the Taj Mahal when I come to visit, so I feel like I should capitalize on that and go see India.
Right on.
What about you? What's your bucket list country?
It's tough because it's not exotic, but I'd like to go to Scotland. I'm a golfer.
Okay.
I'd like to play a little golf in
Yeah.
Scotland. Or I used to be a golfer. I'd like to try that again one day. Scotland would be a good one for golf. Obviously, they have a great drinking culture, which maybe that's a good or bad thing for me. And there's a couple others. South Africa would be a good time, I think.
Oh, I bet that would be beautiful.
That'd be a good one.
My friend's been to South Africa, and they did a safari, and there's great wineries in South Africa.
And New Zealand, just for the scenery.
I want to do the Hobbit tour. I want to do the Lord of the Rings tour in New Zealand. I would eat that up with a spoon.
Yeah, those aren't real, right?
I know hobbits aren't real, but they take you to a lot of the filming locations, and you feel like you're in Middle Earth.
I feel like you're going to go to a doctor to try to grow hair on the top of your feet to fit in when you go.
No.
Okay. People asked about why I was in New Orleans. I was in New Orleans for work. Met some very, very notable New Orleans natives while I was there.
You did?
And stuff. And if you want to, we'll maybe have pictures of it or something on Boxed In tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you can
We'll
tell
check
us
it out.
some New Orleans stories.
Yeah.
Tomorrow will be Travel Extraordinaire episode of Boxed In.
We have one more segment. Let's see how everything wrapped up at the Nomad Lounge. All right. So on to our second drinks. It's more of a freestyle. Pick what you want. Jill and I both went with Kungaloosh.
Kungaloosh.
This is a beer that's been around for a while. They've changed who makes it. I think the recipe's similar. Only place you can get this here next door at Tiffin's and Skipper Canteen. Drinking while you've been watching us here on WDWAF.
I was busy drinking while we were trying to figure out that was the wrong video.
That's
segment.
definitely a segment we've already seen.
That is a segment that we just played 5 minutes ago.
That's okay, maybe probably a lot more than 5 minutes ago, though. Honestly,
fair.
We tend to drag on a little bit.
I do sometimes not know when to shut up.
You've been in Japan. I've been. Okay, let's do domestic while we figure out this out. We got to find the right tape. Is that right? Find the right
Yes,
tape back there in the tape library.
The right reel.
American city you've never been to, you'd like to go to?
I'm gonna go with Seattle. I have never been to the Pacific Northwest. I would also accept Portland as a consolation prize. I feel like
They're both great.
that's like a super offensive thing to say about the people of Portland.
No, it's the same thing.
I love that show Portlandia. I want to believe that the
Seattle
dream,
and Portland are the same thing, trust me.
the dream
People
of
with
the
scarves
90s
drinking
is alive in
IPAs
Portland.
and
that's,
coffee.
The dream of the 90s is alive in the Pacific Northwest.
The weather is beautiful. It's
The
amazing.
weather's beautiful. There's great wine up in Washington State and Oregon.
A lot of breweries, too.
A lot of breweries. You're not
told.
far from Northern California and Napa and Sonoma. That would be my bucket list of places in the U.S. that I have not been that I would like to visit.
Believe it or not, I have never been to Boston.
No
As much as I've
kidding.
traveled.
Wow.
I've
I
never
spent
been to Boston.
Jason went to grad school in Boston. He went to MIT. So I
I've heard of
spent
it.
a good chunk of time.
It was in, you know why? It was in Wakanda Forever, and they said she's at a school called, or she's at a school called MIT. It's the equivalent of a Wakandan village school. They say that. That was good.
It was in Goodwill Hunting, right? Goodwill Hunting was
That,
also
yeah, that
MIT?
was in Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah.
That one. What's the one with Russell Crowe? Beautiful Mind, wasn't that MIT?
Yeah.
And Jason Diffendahl. The three most famous
MIT graduate.
things you'll see
Yeah.
from MIT.
Yeah.
No, I've never been to Boston. Got a lot of great history there. As many times as I've been to DC, I don't feel like I've ever gotten to actually experience DC. It's been like in for work, meeting, walk around, fly out. You know.
Yeah.
DC would be a good one. I
like
spent a lot of
DC.
time.
I have a lot of good friends in DC.
Spent a lot of time in California and Vegas and Texas and
Yeah.
up and down the Eastern Seaboard, but no Boston. A lot
I've
of
been
New
to
York.
California many times, but I love California. I would never say no to going back to California. It's probably like if I could live somewhere, I would, and that was less expensive.
So
if California were less expensive, I would live there. I would have lived there a long time ago.
I had the best of both worlds, which was I was stationed in Monterey, California.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the beauty of California Monterey, which is probably the most beautiful part of California.
But you didn't have to
and
pay
I didn't
for
have
it.
to pay rent.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I would go back, I guess. I don't know. I like that gloomy weather, though. I'm weird like that. I like the gloomy weather.
Oh, then you'd like Japan. It's gloomy even when it's not gloomy.
Yeah, but it's gloomy, but I can't understand what anyone's saying.
Oh.
Jake, are we good?
Arigato gozaimasu.
Almost?
We need a minute?
We got to kill a minute. We got a minute and a half. Again, so...
A tribute to all nations. I feel like we've already done a tribute to all nations.
We've done a tribute to all nations. Okay, real quick. Your favorite city to visit in America?
City to visit.
Favorite American city to visit?
Probably New York. I love New York.
I love New York.
I can never, like, I like LA, but I feel like in terms of, and I would put LA second, but only because, and I know a lot of people, I get a lot of flack for saying how much I love LA, but I will acknowledge that a lot of what I love about LA is not necessarily downtown Los Angeles, but it's sort of like the greater Los Angeles area, because you've got to loop Anaheim into there and like Santa Monica and Points North, and there's a lot that I like about Southern California that's not necessarily exclusive to LA. But New York City, one of my best friends lives in New York City. I've been there. I lived in Philly most of my life, so I was 2 hours away from New York. I've spent a ton of time there. I love it. If there was ever a city that I feel like I could live in, like just make that transition very easily, it would be New York. I love taking the trains. I love all the restaurants. I love the people. I love the hustle and bustle and how many things there are. I'm I'm from the Northeast, so that's like my mentality is like that Northeast New York, Philly mentality.
So I don't know. I feel like there's different cities in the U.S. that I love for different reasons. Yeah. Like I love L.A. Like the weather is beautiful, or San Diego in particular. New York, I love New York. There's a lot to do and there's a lot to see and it's fun. San Antonio, believe it or not, I really like. I know a lot of people from San Antonio are rolling their eyes right now.
I've never been to San Antonio, but I've always heard great
But for
things.
like a weekend trip, San Antonio is great. And hey, I'm a Vegas guy. I love Las Vegas.
Everybody loves Vegas, but like Vegas
if
is
you're
a
a Disney
place
person,
where I can like live.
you do the Disney. You go to Disneyland, rent a car, drive to Las Vegas. Like
oh my God, that
3-4
drive
hours.
is so fun.
I've done it so many times.
It's so
I've done
weird.
it so many times.
You come up, you go through the hills, like you go through the mountains in Barstow, and then you come down, and then it's just like desert for like 2 straight hours. It's nothing but flat and like that shimmer off the road.
Can you imagine
if
we moved this show to Las Vegas? LVAF.
I feel
we would
like,
never run out of material.
I feel like that's just Las Vegas. I feel like describing Las Vegas after 5 is just like describing Las Vegas. Like, does anything actually happen in that town? But like, does anything different happen after 5 than happens before 5? I feel like no.
Yeah, it cools off so you can go to the outdoor bars.
That's fair. That's fair. The temperature drops a little, just a smidge.
That's good. Quick information. I saw people in chat asking about my brother, Andy. He's doing as well as he can. He could use some thoughts right now, so some of my thoughts up to Andy. I know you are too. Thank you, Jill. Hopefully we'll get some more answers soon about what's going on with him.
Yep. We wish Andy well. We got him in our thoughts.
But I'm sure Kansas City's being dominated by the NFL draft right now.
Kansas City's a little distracted. Right this moment. And we appreciate all of you joining us. Probably those of you joining us don't care about the NFL
I can blame our low
draft.
ratings on the NFL draft.
I feel like, this is an episode where if the ratings are low, it's because of football.
Yeah. We ready, Jake? Yep. All right, let's go back to our final segment. All right, so we're wrapping up. Well, all right, so we're wrapping up, and they have these tags, and you can, for a donation, write things about your travel adventures on them, and they will hang them in the restaurant.
Yeah, because the idea behind Nomad is it's like a place to tell stories. People share their tale, right? And so the big banners have some stories, and then you could do your own.
But also, this is very much like a shrine in Asia, where you give a donation to the shrine and you can write some sort of prayer or other
manifestation.
Yes.
But we're telling stories.
But we're telling stories.
And proceeds go to the Disney Animal Conservation
Worldwide
Fund.
Conservation Fund.
Yep, yep.
All right, so Tom, what did your tag tell you to do?
My tag
Share your
is, what
story.
do you always do when traveling? And I said, this is going to sound so stereotypical, but it's really true. Go outside of your comfort zone, at least try things once, even if they sound, and particularly with food, even if it sounds gross, I think you should try things because you never know. And we yelled this at my father for 3 weeks in Japan because he doesn't eat anything. And so I forced him to try stuff. And he did. By the end of the trip, he was eating a lot of things that I never thought we could make him eat. And so, they both tried sushi. Neither of my parents had sushi before, which I know sounds insane, but they both did it. We're like, oh, this is good.
Was limited edition.
No, then he would have put it in a case and
say
taken it home. But no, I mean, it sounds so cliche, but it's very true. You have to be willing to try stuff.
All right, Nick, what's your tag?
All right, so mine says also, what do you always do when traveling?
Yeah.
Okay. After parking the maxi van in the bushes, I make sure no one noticed, then I venture into the closest bar for some bourbon. Thanks for the liquid magic memories, WDWNT AF.
That's great. So mine said, what was your best animal encounter? And I said, 3 days into a transatlantic voyage, I walked out onto the balcony to see the water as smooth as glass and a pod of dolphins escorting us. Hashtag WDWAF.
Aw, that's lovely.
That's
My story is a little more AF-esque. I went on a trip to Mexico.
Oh
and
no, I know how this ends. That's been outlawed in Mexico now.
So we went to, I believe it's called Ixtapa. It's a nature park. So it's basically kind of like if a theme park existed in the natural environment where you can cliff jump into the river and there's an actual lazy river that's on a real river of a stream trickling down from
A
the
lazy river that's not concrete.
That's not concrete, exactly. There's a whole big lagoon where you can scuba dive. But so we're walking around this nature park. It was amazing. And there are these animals called Cody, which are basically kind of like a big raccoon, probably 3 times the size of a regular raccoon. And they would come out and kind of sniff around people, but you weren't supposed to interact with them. Well, this one walks out of the underbrush and this guy kind of tries to I don't know, maybe kind of harass it a little bit, and it just came at him and bit him on the foot and ran back into the underbrush, and he was gushing blood.
That's amazing.
I'm pretty sure he was American and he probably was asking for it, but that was my craziest animal encounter on a trip to another country.
All right. So, at the end of every episode, we ask for a rating. 1 to 10, you can use decimal points. Nomad Lounge, Joe.
9.3.
All right, 9.3. That's very high. That's very aggressive, especially for an in-theme park. This
This is the best in-park lounge, in my opinion.
okay. I'm gonna go 8.9.
And I would argue that there's only one other lounge in a theme park that can even hold a candle. And it is Tuna.
Tune in lounge. Okay. All right, 8.9 for me. Great menu. There's great food. We didn't eat any food, but
Fantastic.
indoor, outdoor seating options are both great. Great theme, cool vibe. Look at this view.
At Christmas
Very
time,
pretty.
Santa goes past on a boat.
Yeah. 8.9.
Yeah. Everything, take everything into account. The aesthetics here, both inside and outside, especially outside. There's no place I'd rather sit except maybe Geyser Point outside during,
Water pageant.
But the music loop, I never mentioned that yet. I love this music loop. It's one of my favorite loops in all of Disney World. All the drinks are amazing. The food is phenomenal. This is my favorite lounge on Disney property, and I'm giving it a 10.
10.
I have to.
Wow.
I have to. It's my favorite one.
I would be at a 10 if it wasn't for the current waiting system. Because I hate, you get that text that's like, oh, we think your table's going to be ready in 15 minutes. is never 15 minutes. It is always 30, 45. So they basically make you come out. They're like, get nearby, and then everyone just stands out there for 30 to 45 minutes. Like, just text me when the table's ready. I'm in this park. I've joined your waiting list. I know. Like, message me when the table's ready. Don't warn me. And I hate that. I'm at a 9.5, and that half a point is only lost for the waiting system. That's it.
So that's a 9.425. That is the highest rated lounge we've done yet.
It's the best lounge. I'm with Nick. It's the best lounge at Disney.
In park or in Disney?
Period. Period. Like, how many specialty cocktails? The entire list is fantastic. The music, the ambiance, everything.
I don't think
about
you can say that because we have not yet on this show visited all the lounges. So stay tuned as we rate all the rest of the lounges. But that'll do it from here at Nomad Lounge. We'll see you next week.
That was Nomad.
There we have it. Our highest rated bar yet.
And I would argue that we are not going to find a more highly rated bar. We may have. I feel like Jock's is the only
A couple things about Nomad. Paywall.
Yeah.
You have to buy a theme. You have to have theme park admission to get
That's
it.
fair. That's fair.
Right.
I think we take that for granted as pass holders.
The
but
waiting
that's
system
true.
is a huge pain in the butt.
It's a mess.
I've rope dropped Nomad a lot.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to, or you're not getting in. It used to be a lot easier to get in, and it's a lot more popular these days, so it's a lot harder to get in.
Crappy bourbon list.
Crappy bourbon list.
I'm just trying to think of anything negative about Nomad Lounge.
I mean,
The drink list, they have a good list of signature cocktails.
Yeah, I think
But they're very specific to a certain taste. Like Trader Sam's, right? So Trader Sam's, same deal. Trader Sam's, you better like a certain type of cocktail.
there are only like 2 drinks on the Trader Sam's menu that I like. I will never rate Trader Sam's as highly as I rate Nomad Lounge because they're all rum drinks, and I'm not a rum drink person.
Just let me say, though, there are a few places we've been, a few places we'll be in the future with a really amazing view, and all
Or a
of the
really
same amount of
great
liquor they have at Nomad
theme
Lounge, so they can
environment.
make anything that they make at Nomad Lounge
Yeah.
at some of these places.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a couple other bars on property that are as great as Nomad, but I'm gonna reserve.
One of them's
to
on
say,
property. One of them's on property, but it's not a Disney bar.
That's true. That is true.
You know the one I'm talking about.
I do.
It's on a roof of a place.
I am very excited for that one because it's a place I like to go.
Who knows if we'll go there? I don't know.
I'm gonna try to talk you into it for a future episode. We've got how many more episodes of the show? I know
4.
somebody asked earlier.
4 more, right?
When does News Tonight come back?
News Tonight returns on June 1st.
The first Thursday in June, June 1st.
And
So until then, we've got
I just have to
plenty
fill in
more,
until
eh?
then. I gotta dance a little bit. I don't know any tap dancing.
No, you gotta drink. This
Drink
is
a little
a
bit. Okay,
show
I can
about
do
drinking.
that. Did you see that farmer's tan I had? That was crazy.
That was a serious farmer's tan. That's what happens when you live in Florida, though.
I think
You
it's
kind
more of a
I
park
don't-
hopper's tan or a golfer's
Yeah.
tan than a farmer's tan, because I can assure you I haven't done any hard work like farming.
Farming seems like, why would you come to Florida and farm? It feels really really masochistic.
I don't know.
It's hot, folks. It's only the end of April, and it's already like
I heard it's supposed to get down to
full-blown
68
summer
degrees tonight.
thunderstorms. Yeah.
68 degrees tonight.
We've
Open your windows.
already got like summer thunderstorms. It's crazy.
Look, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to try to keep doing this for a few more weeks.
Yeah.
We enjoy doing it.
I think we won't have a hard time finding a few more bars to take our guests to and show them all the great things to do.
We are
AF
changing.
at WDW.
We're changing up the format each and every week to try to find something that
Yeah.
is more natural and fits with us and
This
feels
is
good.
our Epcot Festival table format. Let us know how you like that.
Yeah. Well, let us know about all that. You can tell us in the chat after the fact. Anyway, we thank you for tuning in. We will see you next Thursday when we're going to be going to a totally different bar.
We will, but also we'll see you tomorrow when we open Tokyo Disney 40th anniversary merchandise on Boxed In.
Are we going to give any away?
I think there might be a Tokyo Disney 40th anniversary item that we can give away on the show.
Tune in tomorrow. That'll be at 7 p.m. right here on
7 p.m.
WDWNT.TV,
tomorrow night.
Boxed In, the greatest terrible unboxing show you've ever Not really liked.
But it's the best unboxing show that brings you two of the best things in the world, which are Disney merchandise and bourbon. So if you like one, or if you like both of those things, this is totally the show for you. But even if you only like one of those things, you're probably still going to enjoy it a little bit.
All right, we will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.